Hey there, amazing friends! I warmly invite you to join me on this exciting journey by subscribing to my channel, liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. Every like, comment, and share brings us closer together and fuels my passion to create more great content. Your support truly makes all the difference. Thank you for being the heart of this community. Secrets in the Starlight. Inside the town where otherworldly orbs hovered for 3 consecutive nights, Maribel Holt had never thought of her hometown, Windfield, as a place of cosmic significance. Perched on the edge of a vast desert and overshadowed by craggy mesas, it was mostly known for its quiet roads, dusty saloons, and the sweet hush of night skies. The old men in rocking chairs would point out constellations to wide-eyed children after sundown, reminding them that the desert's darkest hours offered the brightest stars. But no one expected that one week in August, the skies would produce something far more mysterious, otherworldly orbs that defied explanation and plunged Windfield into a swirl of rumors, visitors, and hidden truths. On the evening of August 14th, Maribel was standing outside the hardware store, chatting with Mr. Dupree about the oppressive heat. The sun had just set, leaving a faint orange glow over the horizon. Suddenly, a shimmer appeared overhead, like a star flaring brighter than normal. But it didn't twinkle or shift with the wind. Instead, it remained perfectly still, shining with a cold white brilliance. Maribel stared in bafflement. Mr. Dupree frowned, adjusting his thick glasses. He muttered something about how satellites sometimes reflect the sun, but had never seen one so luminous or so large. Soon, a small crowd gathered in front of the store, gazing skyward. The hush was tangible. The orb, roughly the size of a dime, held at arm's length, glowed with an otherworldly sheen. After several minutes, it drifted, gliding across the sky with a slow, deliberate motion. A hush fell, like the entire town collectively held its breath. Then, with uncanny swiftness, the orb shot westward in a blur, vanishing in seconds. The watchers exchanged stunned looks. No airplane moved that fast, and no drone soared so silently. Excitement, fear, and awe rippled through them. Could it have been a meteor? That seemed unlikely, given its hovering and controlled path. News spread across Windfield by morning. People who missed the sight fumed, demanding details. Gossip soared that it was swamp gas, a top-secret craft, or the classic UFO. A few locals, seeking rational comfort, insisted it must have been an advanced plane from the nearby Air Force Base. Yet many, including Maribel, remained unconvinced. She felt a strange electric tingle each time she recalled how the orb hovered so serenely, then darted away. The second night, if the first sighting was remarkable, the second was downright astonishing. August 15th came and went in a swirl of speculation. By dusk, half the town lingered outside, scanning the darkening skies, hoping or half dreading a repeat. As the clock neared 9, they got their wish. This time, not one orb, but 3 appeared, aligned in a triangular formation, each shining with an intense but somehow soft luminescence. They hovered above the desert's edge, near the region's tallest mesa. A collective gasp spread among the watchers. Some snapped shaky phone videos. Others whispered prayers. The orbs remained for nearly an hour. They maneuvered in patterns, circling each other, forming shapes in the sky, sometimes merging into a single bright mass, then splitting again. All in eerie silence. Even the usual night insects seemed hushed by their presence. Eventually, the orb soared higher and vanished among the stars. By that point, it was impossible to deny that something extraordinary was happening. A wave of excitement overtook Windfield, accompanied by a creeping nervousness. The local diner buzzed with theories. Some insisted it was aliens. Others guessed advanced military craft. A handful thought it might be an elaborate prank. But how? The rumor mill ignited. The next day, a swarm of strangers, journalists, UFO enthusiasts, curiosity seekers, descended upon Windfield, hoping for a glimpse. Tents popped up in empty lots, campers lined the roads. TV vans parked near the main intersection, their satellite dishes pointed skyward. The small local inn overflowed with bookings. Meanwhile, a few townsfolk eyed the newcomers warily, irritated by the sudden clamor. Maribel felt caught between excitement and dread. She couldn't shake a sensation that the orbs were not just random sightings, but purposeful visitations. When she confided this to her friend Liza, a school teacher, Liza admitted to similar feelings, like the orbs emanated a quiet intelligence. Did that mean they carried a message or intention? The third night, August 16th, arrived with a frenzy. The town's population nearly doubled for the evening as even more enthusiasts arrived. Makeshift camps spread across farmland. People brandished binoculars and cameras. Some lit grills for a tailgate-like atmosphere. Others maintained solemn watch, suspecting contact with an alien presence. At dusk, the crowd scanned the horizon. Hours passed with no sign. Just as disappointment set in, the orbs appeared around 10 p.m., this time near the town's outskirts. 4 orbs, brilliantly white, twirled across the sky as if in a choreographed dance. Cheers and gasps erupted from watchers. Cameras flashed. For nearly half an hour, the spectacle unfolded. Then, with a sudden shift, one orb shot upward, another plummeted near the desert floor, a third darted behind a hill, and the final hovered overhead. The watchers scattered in confusion, trying to follow each orb's path. Maribel, determined not to lose sight, jumped into her pickup with Liza. They sped toward the desert flats, chasing the one that descended behind the dunes. The glare of headlights cut across the dusty plain. In the distance, a faint glow pulsed, marking the orb's location. They parked and hurried on foot, hearts hammering. They reached a slight ridge, peered over it, and froze. The orb was right there, perhaps 30 feet away, hovering a few yards above the ground. Up close, it seemed larger, maybe 8 feet across, surface shimmering like liquid mercury. A low hum resonated in the air. The hair on Maribel's arms prickled. Lisa's breath caught in a silent gasp. They watched, transfixed, as the orb glided in a slow, deliberate arc. For an instant, it pulsed with an inner light that illuminated the desert floor, revealing tracks of desert wildlife. Then it soared upward and vanished into the night sky. Stunned, they realized a figure stood a dozen yards behind them, someone wrapped in a cloak, face hidden in the gloom. Startled, they spun around. The stranger made no attempt to speak, but pointed at the sky, then turned and disappeared among the rocks. The brief meeting left them rattled. Who was that, and how had they moved so silently? It added an unsettling layer to the night's mysteries. When Maribel and Liza returned to town, the other orbs had vanished as well. Word circulated that one soared off near the mountains, another rose straight into space. The watchers roamed about in disbelief, many still exclaiming they'd never seen anything like it. The next morning, however, the hush was profound. For 3 nights in a row, the orbs had appeared, mesmerizing or terrifying all who witnessed them. Now they were gone, and so the big question, would they return? Aftermath and investigations within days, mainstream media outlets latched onto the phenomenon, dubbing it the Windfield Lights. Newspapermen interviewed anyone who saw them. Internet forums exploded with speculation. Some declared the events the greatest UFO encounter in years. Others alleged hoaxes or advanced projection technology. The local sheriff's phone rang off the hook, with theories and tall tales from every corner of the country. A contingent from the nearest Air Force base arrived, official uniforms stiff with authority. They politely but firmly questioned townsfolk, collecting witness statements, scouring the desert for evidence. They found no footprints, no scorch marks, no sign of landing gear. They suggested to the press that these might be experimental drones or illusions caused by temperature inversions. But their presence hinted they took the matter quite seriously. Some swore they saw men in unmarked suits with curious devices scanning the desert floor at night. Meanwhile, a group of UFO investigators set up a makeshift HQ in the community center. Among them was Dr. Abel Kirkner, a seasoned researcher known for his calm, methodical approach. Dr. Kirkner interviewed Maribel and Liza about their close-up encounter. He asked them about the hum, the orb size, and whether they sensed any mental communication. They described only awe, no direct telepathy. Kirkner mused that the phenomenon might not be a craft, but a sort of plasma manifestation, though that usually lacks such control or intelligence. In parallel, rumors swirled about the cloaked figure Maribel and Liza glimpsed. A desert hermit, a government agent. Some even claimed it might be an alien in disguise. Town gossips turned frantic, weaving new myths daily. Maribel tried to keep perspective. She recalled the figure's silent gesture toward the sky, as if he, whoever he was, wanted them to pay attention or to know something more lurked overhead. Buried clues 2 weeks after the sightings, as the frenzy cooled, a handful of outsiders lingered. Dr. Kirkner and a small band of local volunteers, including Maribel and Liza, systematically combed the desert for clues. They discovered a patch of ground near where the orb hovered, its sand strangely fused or hardened. It was a small area, roughly circular, as if exposed to intense heat or energy. The pattern felt deliberate, not random. The group took samples, sending them to a distant lab. That same day, old Mr. Landry from the local historical society approached them with an anecdote, a half-forgotten tale of luminous ghost lights that once graced the region in the late 19th century. A battered ledger in the archives contained notes from a traveling frontier journalist who described orbs of pale fire dancing above the mesa. Could these sightings be cyclical phenomena recurring across centuries? While exploring more historical records, Liza uncovered a cryptic mention from the 1930s. A rancher claimed to have watched a bright ball of light descend behind the same desert ridges. He insisted he saw tall robed figures chanting in a language unknown to him. The rancher apparently vanished soon after. The parallels with the cloaked figure Maribel saw unsettled them. Had a hidden group in the desert witnessed or communed with these orbs for generations? An unexpected breakthrough late one evening, Dr. Kirkner's phone rang. A colleague at the lab that tested the desert sand sample shared puzzling results. The sand's silicon structure had been partially rearranged at a molecular level, as if bombarded by an unknown energy. Temperatures would have needed to exceed known terrestrial phenomena for that brief instance. This soared beyond typical man-made technology. Kirkner confided these results to Maribel and Liza, confirming that something beyond conventional science had altered the ground. Meanwhile, a local rancher named Hector reported seeing distant lights again, flickering behind the hills one night. The orbs might have reappeared, though in a more subdued manner. The tension soared. The group resolved to investigate, heading out under cover of darkness to the same desert vantage. The night was quiet, no sign of orbs. But they found footprints in the sand, human footprints, leading into a rocky canyon. They followed these tracks carefully. Beneath Starlight, the canyon's walls loomed. The footprints led to a hidden crevice. Within, they discovered a small campsite, a tent, some provisions, no occupant. A battered notebook lay near the smoldering remains of a campfire. Flipping through it, they found jottings about the Watchers, references to communion with luminous beings, and partial sketches of swirling shapes in the sky. The handwriting was disjointed, the phrases nearly raving. One line read, "They come every few decades. We keep the memory alive. We guide them," signed only with an initial R. The hermit's revelation as they lingered at the camp. A soft cough startled them. A cloaked figure emerged from behind a boulder, arms raised in a sign of non-aggression. It was the same figure Maribel and Liza had glimpsed near the orb. Now, in the faint glow of flashlights, they could see an older man with weathered features, eyes alert with an intensity that bordered on fervor. He introduced himself as Rowan. He apologized if he frightened them. He claimed the orbs were part of a cosmic visitation, and for years he had devoted his life to studying them. He recounted a lineage of desert dwellers, call them Watchers or Keepers, who believed these luminous visitors were not spacecraft in the mechanical sense, but living energy forms, cosmic intelligences that periodically visited Earth's remote places. "They are older than we can imagine," Rowan insisted. "They read the starlight, the cosmic frequencies. Sometimes they show themselves to those who still pay attention." He insisted that the three-night display was part of an ancient pattern. Possibly the orbs sought contact or observation. When questioned about the possibility of hoaxes or illusions, Rowan gestured at the star-laden sky. "Humans love to dismiss the unknown as trickery, but I've observed them for decades. My father before me. Each cycle, they appear, leaving small traces. They are not hostile, but their presence unsettles reality." He admitted that the robed figure sightings from decades past might refer to Watchers like him, or earlier Watchers who protected the orbs from meddling authorities. He guided them to a small leather-bound journal stuffed with notes and sketches dating back generations. The images matched the orbs' shapes, describing hums and whirs, cosmic portents. Among them were references to historical sightings in 1882, 1937, 1971, and now. A consistent pattern, 3 nights of open display, then weeks or months of faint glimmers. Dr. Kirkner pressed Rowan on the why behind it all. Rowan shrugged. "Perhaps they study us, or maintain cosmic balance. I only know that we Watchers revere their presence as a reminder there is more to existence than our small concerns. We do our best to keep them safe from exploitation." He parted ways quietly, urging them not to reveal his campsite location or identity. They agreed, half in awe, half uncertain. Media storm and waning interest word got out that new footprints were found near the desert, fueling more speculation. Television crews stirred excitement, but no fresh flamboyant displays appeared. As days passed without further orbs, the outside crowds began to depart. The media spotlight drifted on. Windfield returned to a calmer pace. That is, except for those who had witnessed the events up close: Maribel, Liza, Dr. Kirkner, and others who felt changed by the encounter. Some local businesses tried to profit from orb souvenirs. Others disliked the attention. The Air Force presence remained for a while, though they gave no official statement. A hush settled over the phenomenon. The final official stance from the authorities was that no conclusive evidence emerged, and we suspect atmospheric or experimental aircraft explanations. UFO enthusiasts scoffed, calling it a cover-up. Maribel, for her part, felt a lingering sense of wonder. She occasionally roamed the desert at dusk, half hoping for another glimpse. She found none. One late afternoon, though, she discovered a small stack of stones near the ridge where the orb had hovered, possibly placed by Rowan. Beneath it lay a cryptic note: "We are but watchers of infinite wonders. Cherish the quiet presence." She kept it as a reminder. Unfinished theories, Dr. Kirkner consolidated his research into a measured report, concluding that the luminous objects displayed flight characteristics beyond known terrestrial craft, but no direct evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence was found. He proposed that they might be advanced plasma phenomena or a previously unknown atmospheric anomaly, though he admitted no known phenomenon explained the perfect geometric maneuvers. In short, a puzzle remains. Hank, the local policeman who oversaw crowd control, recounted that even off the record, higher-ups from the base seemed perplexed. They had no explanation, he told Maribel. They quietly took notes, asked me if I saw the orbs or fragments. They left looking worried. Maybe it implied official ignorance or a hidden, deeper understanding. Hard to say. That cloaked watchers existed in the desert, preserving a tradition that spanned generations, suggested another dimension. Possibly, people like Rowan maintained a sacred perspective that these orbs were cosmic visitors, some form of intelligence that occasionally revealed itself to humankind. While mainstream investigators insisted on scientific curiosity, the Watchers accepted it as a spiritual bond with the unknown sky dwellers. A final glimpse, autumn approached. The desert nights grew cooler. The last of the UFO fanatics trickled out. Windfield's daily life resumed. The extraordinary events seemed to fade into memory and rumor. But for Maribel, curiosity remained. One particularly clear October night, she parked her truck at the same vantage point, gazing at the spangled heavens. Hours passed, nothing extraordinary. The wind hissed across the dunes. She nearly dozed. Close to midnight, a faint glimmer caught her eye, a single orb far up, near the horizon, moving quietly across the sky. Her heart flipped. She couldn't be sure if it was truly the phenomenon or a common satellite. Yet it had that same gentle glow, that subtle, mesmerizing aura. For a minute, it hovered. Then it winked out. In that fleeting moment, she felt Rowan's words ring in her mind. We are but watchers of infinite wonders. A hush enveloped her, a sense that the watchers beyond the stars might remain present, though discreet. She told no one but Liza, who smiled, saying perhaps the orbs were giving a private farewell or reminder. In the weeks that followed, no further sightings occurred. The hush around the event deepened, and the months rolled on. People returned to discussing the harvest, school events, and normal life. Yet the memory of those 3 consecutive nights lingered, etched in the town's collective consciousness. Echoes of the unknown in time, the swirling theories died down, replaced by new amusements and the daily hustle. But if you pass through Windfield nowadays, you'll find a subtle shift in how folks view the sky. The town holds a quiet acceptance that they once witnessed something extraordinary, call it cosmic visitors or an unknown wonder. Some remain firm that they saw alien craft. Others maintain a cautious acceptance, suspecting advanced technology beyond public knowledge. A few keep a more mystical interpretation, trusting in Rowan's explanation that luminous beings of cosmic origin occasionally grace Earth with their presence. Maribel still has that slip of note from Rowan pinned to her bedroom wall. Dr. Kirkner occasionally visits, furthering hush-hush conversations about the phenomenon. Liza sometimes wonders if their children's children will see the orbs in another generation, repeating an ancient cycle. The orb story endures in local lore, retold in hushed or excited tones. A few brave souls trek the desert at night, hoping to replicate the sightings. Usually, they find only Starlight. But every so often, an out-of-town visitor claims to glimpse faint glows drifting near the horizon, overhead hums that fade too quickly. The Watchers say the orbs keep their own schedule, shaped by cosmic alignments or intangible design. the hush remains, some secrets in the starlight refusing to be pinned down by mortal inquiry. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson. Not all mysteries aim to be solved. Some exist to remind us how vast and uncharted the cosmos truly is, how small we stand beneath the swirling galaxies. So stands the tale of Windfield's 3 miraculous nights, a fleeting window into the unknown that left behind more questions than answers, but also a renewed sense of wonder. In a world often bound by reason and routine, those glowing orbs, hovering with silent grace, offered a glimpse of possibility, an invitation for humankind to look upward and recall that beyond the stratosphere, secrets shimmer in starlight, forever beckoning us to dream of infinite frontiers.